Today we're going to talk about how to know if you should buy a particular piece of art when you just can't quite make up your mind. Now there are days when you don't need this advice at all because you see something and it is exactly right for you. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says, doesn't matter what the price is. You might have a little bit of internal dialogue, you might have a little bit of external dialogue or even bickering with people around you, but you know that it's exactly right no matter what they say, no matter what you think, it's perfect and you're able to get it. And those kinds of decisions are relatively easy. I'm talking about the times when you see something, you think you like it, but maybe it's the finances, maybe you're out of cash at the moment, maybe the piece is priced at a particular price point that you're just not sure. Maybe there's something about the painting itself, the technique or the subject matter that you're just not sure if you should get it for you. I've developed a two-step test that is very, very helpful. And before I figured out the test, I made both kinds of wrong decisions. I bought art that I should not have bought, and I didn't buy art that I deeply regret not getting at the time. But these two tests have helped me since then to make purchases that I think are perfect for me along the way. And maybe some version of these tests will be very, very helpful to you too. Ironically, the first purchase I made in art, I applied both these tests without figuring them out, without realizing them. I was in junior high or early high school, and on my route each day there was a bookstore that had a watercolorist, a local watercolorist who was really very good, worked in large-scale watercolors most of the time, 3 by 4 feet, way past my price range, but I went in to look because he was so good. And one Christmas he decided he was going to do some small-scale work that would be priced way, because the scale was so small, far more affordable, and that would move quickly so that he could have some Christmas income and people could have presents. And there was one painting that I really, really liked. So I went in there every day, and every day I saw this painting and I liked it. And I don't know if the bookstore suggested it or if I finally came up with the idea, but it was clear that I couldn't buy the painting outright. But I got permission to put a little bit down each week. And each week I went in and paid them a little bit more until finally one week I walked in and paid the last amount and walked out of the bookstore triumphantly with my watercolor in hand. I still have that painting to this day. I still like it. It was a great purchase. I'm so glad I have it. And at the time, I was instinctively applying these two tests that took me a while after that to figure out. The first test is this: 24 to 48 hours later, am I still thinking about a painting that I've passed on? If I see a painting and I just don't know if I should get it or not, 24 hours to 48 hours later, am I still thinking about it? Now, it may be I'm thinking about it because I really like it. It appeals to me. But it's not only about liking it. There are times when I actively dislike a painting. There's something about it. It might even be creepy. I don't like it. But I'm still thinking about it 24 or 48 hours later. It has power that I recognize. And in those cases, I've come to realize that it's worth getting because it has power for me that is speaking to me, and it will have a long-lasting power, and it would be worth investing in. That test has helped me avoid paintings that I should not buy. The one that I bought that I regret owning, I bought for a different reason. 24 to 48 hours later, it wasn't speaking to me. I was trying to do something conceptually, and it was the wrong decision. I didn't buy it because it appealed to my eye or to my heart. I bought it for a different reason, and it was a bad decision. But since I've come up with this rule, 24 to 48 hours later, is it still speaking to me? That's helped me buy things that are very, very good and to pass on things that aren't for me. They might be for somebody else. The second rule has helped me avoid the other kind of wrong decision where I've walked away from paintings that I should have purchased. The second rule is this: within 1 year, can I afford it? So it's the 1-year test. Can I afford it within a year? That really helps me put things in perspective, because many times I see a particular piece of art when I'm on vacation in New York or in galleries in the West or somewhere, and I've maybe expended my vacation budget. There's no more money that day or that week or maybe even that month. But if I ask the question, can I afford it within a year? Well, sometimes I can say, oh yeah, within 60 days I could afford this, or 90, or within the year's time I could easily work this into my budget. If that's the case, then I've found that for me it's very worthwhile to acquire the piece, to invest in it, because I can afford it within the year, and for me that's a reasonable time frame. Now, as you think about these two tests and adapt them to your own collecting or some version of them, the time frame for you of the second one might be shorter or longer. It might be that 90 days is the appropriate time frame for you to think about. It might be that 5 years or 2 years or something is an appropriate time frame. You'll have to figure out what works for your finances and for your situation. But I've found those two tests have been very, very helpful to me, and maybe some version of them will be helpful to you in avoiding both kinds of wrong decisions: buying paintings that you shouldn't and passing on paintings that you should invest in. And I have to say, for me, that second scenario is far more painful. I have one painting in my collection that I should not have bought. I'll get rid of it at some point, but it didn't cost me that much. But the paintings that I passed on, I'm still thinking about, in some cases a decade or 15 years later. I'm going to have to go get them at some point, but I'm going to have to buy them from a collector who knows how to negotiate, and the price is going to be way up from what I thought was maybe too expensive for me at the time. I hope these tips are helpful for you. Check back next week. We're at investinabstractart.com, and we have new video and new information every week. And so if you check back, you'll probably find another helpful tip that'll be just right for you. Remember the word abstract in our name. investinabstractart.com. See you next time.